for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap-ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't missing my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own, tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu, and I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's out to Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and plan to getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me? I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That trade season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
I hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my old flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. Today is Monday, February 7th, 2022. I know you're used to seeing Treyana Holiday's lovely face, but man, Trey Holiday has a well-deserved week off, and I'm joined all this week by the big fella himself, Jake Grabrow. What's up, man?
Hey, it's great to be here. I tell you what, I'm definitely not the prettiest face, especially in comparison to Treyana Holiday. So y'all are gonna have to bear with me for the next few days. I'll do my best, but you know, I'm standing here just in support of Trey.
All right, we switched it up a bit too. You know, people always see you in glasses. And you got your contacts in today. And me, big shout out to my brother Toon. My brother Toon, he hooked me up with some specs. I know this is you guys, the viewing audience. First time ever seeing me in glasses. I can tell you this, though. I can see you much clearly now. And so, yeah, good looking out, Toon. Man, these are nice. I told him I needed something I could rock on air that's kind of defined. So he was like, you know, it's good look okay.
I was photographing you a little bit earlier this morning, and I thought they looked great on camera. So you know, I think he looks good, y'all. What about you?
All right, we might stick with it, man. Great show lined up today, man. What a feel good story, right? We'll get into it here in a bit. We were there on Saturday on 23rd and Spring in the Central District as Africatown Plaza. They did the groundbreaking there. So we have Wyking Garrett of Africatown Community Land Trust is going to be joining us. We're going to talk to him about the groundbreaking Africatown Plaza and what's next over there. So let me get right into it. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. Want to remind you that right now is the perfect opportunity for you to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people you feel would appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in the Emerald City. Want to give a big shout out to our partners over at the South Seattle Emerald and also KBCS 91.3 over at Bellevue College. Remind you that you can also listen to the Morning Update Show anywhere that you listen to your favorite podcast. There's SoundCloud right there up on the screen. You can also check us out on Google, iTunes, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Just search Converge Media Network. Right now, as part of the show, we share a link sent over to us from Public Health, Seattle, King County. If you want to get vaccinated, if you need a booster shot, if you need testing info, or like some people are out there, if you're vaccine hesitant, you got a lot of questions or concerns, you can click this link, and the people from Public Health got lots of resources for you there. You know, this COVID thing, man, it's still with us.
This reminds me that today is exactly my date where I'm eligible now for a booster. So I'll probably find myself in there getting that third jab just because I like getting needles put in me, apparently.
Clearly. See, you got a new tattoo over there.
There's always something to look at.
Can we get a high there on his face? I see. Hopefully, my dad's watching. I told him, "Hey, look, Dad, you see, you got this new tattoo underneath his eye over there." I said, "Pop's gonna zoom in. He gonna be calling you."
He put me on blast on the morning show.
He's gonna be calling you there. And just to let you know, it's a lot of people in our community who are definitely vaccine hesitant. And I mean, a lot for good reason, and here at Converge, we took the approach not to shame and blame people in our community because you know what, to be honest with you, we're constantly getting shamed for something, especially by mainstream media. So we leave a lot of space and grace for people in our community who are hesitant around the vaccine. And we're going to be launching a series of discussions led by our guys, the twins, the Factors, Ronald and Ronair Moore. The Factors are going to be having some discussions talking about the vaccine and vaccine hesitancy in our community. And hopefully we'll be joined by Dr. Duchin over there at Public Health and some other health professionals. We just want to have an open conversation in our community about hesitancy because, that approach of like the talking head or whatever, or this messaging is really pushing a lot of people in our community further away,
There's been so many different things over the course of these last couple of years, especially as we approach now the beginning of year 3 of this, which I'm sure none of us actually thought that we were ever going to make it to. But there's been so much misinformation, so many different things put out there, different variants, all this stuff over the course of the last few years. And so everybody's had questions. I've had questions the entire time myself. So
yeah, no, for sure. And so we'll be following up on that. And other thing, if you want a home test, you can get a free test from the government. COVIDtest.gov. They'll mail it there to your house. Oh, this is big right here. This closes on the 15th. Our friends over at KEXP. Man, this is great. If you're looking to get into radio, if you're looking to get into production, KEXP has 4 paid internships. $22 an hour, man, 15 hours a week. Go over there, kexp.org/internships. You can learn sound production, show booking. Hopefully we need somebody for show booking over here, but a great opportunity at KEXP.
Absolutely. I was actually just over in the KEXP space the other day getting some coffee, and it's a great place to go and hang out. But they had the same graphic that we just had up on their board there in the main room. KEXP has been so great in this community for so many different reasons, but this internship opportunity is something that I'm like, dang, I wish I was like able to do something like that. It'd be great opportunities for learning, that's for sure.
So if they're at your house, if you've got a young person who is inclined to be in media and they sucking up all the air and eating up all the food out the refrigerator, you know what I'm saying? You go ahead and give them a nudge and tell them to go to kexp.org/internships and check that out. Man, Minneapolis, back in the news epicenter here. You know what I'm saying? The police killing of Amir Locke. And man, people have taken to the streets out there, and this just it's bringing up a lot of issues. Of course, this is what it looks like here is that the Minneapolis police went to serve a warrant, and from information from the St. Paul police never asked them to serve the warrant. They went and served a no-knock warrant, entered the home, And Amir Locke was sitting there asleep, had covers over his head. But what the family's saying is he was a legal gun owner, no criminal history. The police came in, they saw the gun, and they murdered him. We got a clip right here from CBS Mornings.
Minneapolis is in turmoil again this morning after the latest police killing in that city. A massive car caravan of protesters traveled through the city last night, stopping outside what is believed to be the interim police chief's home. 22-year-old Amir Locke was shot and killed by a SWAT team during an early morning no-knock raid last Wednesday. The officers were not even looking for him. Now, police video does show Locke holding a gun as an officer shot him. Our national correspondent, Jerika Duncan, has been following this investigation from the beginning and joins us at the table. Jerika, good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good morning to everyone. You know, the mayor, Jacob Fry's office, says it severely limited the use of no-knock warrants last November as part of reforms related to the death of George Floyd. But a report from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune found at least a dozen have been issued since January. Locke's family says the police startled Locke while he was sleeping and that he grabbed his gun in self-defense. We want to warn you, the video you're about to see is disturbing. A weekend of anguish in Minneapolis as thousands of protesters march through the city demanding justice for 22-year-old Amir Locke.
I would like to see the police officers held accountable, first and foremost.
We need to end police brutality and these no-knock warrants. Stop the lying.
Body cam video shows a Minneapolis SWAT team executing a no-knock warrant after using a key to enter the apartment. Multiple officers are heard shouting with their guns drawn. As Locke rises, a gun can be seen in his hand before Officer Mark Hanneman shoots him 3 times, killing him. It all happens in about 9 seconds. Locke's name was not on the warrant, and his family says he was licensed to carry the weapon and had no criminal record.
These no-knock warrants have deadly consequences for innocent black people.
Family attorney Ben Crump says no-knock warrants create unnecessary risks.
You could knock on the door and announce that, hey, the police, we have a search warrant, so people in the middle of the night and while they're in slumber, hear somebody coming in their house and then feel like they were being burglarized.
So far, no charges have been filed in Locke's death, and Officer Hanneman is on administrative leave. In a statement, the Police Officers Association of Minnesota expressed sympathy for Locke's family and said no officer goes into a dangerous setting like this wanting to use a weapon. That decision was not taken lightly. Obviously, just hearing from the parents on Friday, you know, the mother saying she never in a million years would have imagined that she would be one of the very people that she's watched, you know, over the years.
Yeah, so Amir Locke, and I mean, they took it to the streets over there in Minneapolis. Kind of mixed review for the gun rights people. I mean, here it is, a legal gun owner, you know, in their home, no-knock warrant. 9 seconds, a total of 9 seconds. I mean, you hear something similar to Tamir Rice. You know, it's just a matter of seconds before he was killed there. And Breonna Taylor, no-knock warrant there in Louisville.
I mean, I look at the tape and you see the hand come out. I wake up in the morning and I think the last thing I'm probably able to do is immediately understand what's going on in any kind of a situation. I can't even imagine this particular one right here, but the only thing that was even visible was his hand. I think if I'm a police officer in that kind of a scenario, if somebody actually couldn't even physically see me, how is there even a scenario where there is a gun use warranted to be killing somebody in that scenario? I just don't understand.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the nature of a no-knock warrant is a heightened sense of something like that could actually happen. You know, I mean, here's Amir Locke. No criminal history, legal gun owner, very well might be like, hey, this is Minneapolis police. We have a warrant. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Let me put my gun. You know what? Like, I mean, we see this, you know, and actually in the 80s, they said when the no-knock warrant started, there was about 1,500 annually. And they said a few years ago, 50,000 no-knock warrants, 50,000 here. And I mean, again, we just see that it's like these situations where it's like the people who got all the guns, got all the backup, got all the whatever, moving a sense of fear, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's always this sense of fear that's out there. And I mean, we see that here in our city and across the country, that I mean, there's such a sense of fear, right? I remember the same time we played that clip here, and I forget because so many people have been killed. But what state was that in? That was in Minnesota as well, where there was the white guy with the truck, and he was dragging the officer with the truck, and the police chased him, and it was like 10 miles, and they took him into custody with no, you know what I'm saying, with no harm or no whatever. It's just wild, man, and we continue to see this time and again.
Yeah, I mean, such a difference in the way things are handled from one scenario to the other. In this particular case, asleep on a couch, probably never even had a chance to wake up and even understand what was going on before his life was taken from him.
Yeah, and then on top of that, something that we've seen also here in the city of Seattle, the Minneapolis Police Department put out a misleading press release where they called Locke a suspect, and they had to retract it. And the mayor and the interim police chief in Minneapolis walked out the press conference. They walked out the press conference with that little itty bitty word right there. It says suspect. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, you know, these people, a government body puts out a press release, and a lot of times mainstream media run right with it and pick it up and put the word suspect in there.
Well, I mean, we see it time and time again, too, with even like mug shots or images that are used to show somebody who was killed in a scenario like this, and they'll put up something that may be less than flattering for the person. You know, one word, that's all that it could be, but it's the first word that's out, and all of a sudden that becomes the narrative of the particular person, and then you have to backtrack, and so often that backtracking is actually not even something that's paid attention to in the media. They're on to something else. And so his life, essentially, and the scenario around the end of his life will then be categorized by that wrong word that was used, essentially calling him a suspect when he absolutely was not.
Yeah, this is a story we're going to stay on top of here. Unfortunately, another one. And when we talk about, we're going to save this other story for another day. This one, we'll bring it back home over here to Capitol Hill. I tweeted this out on, what was this, yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. We got this, Pettirosso. There it is, man. So it was lines gathered up there at Capitol Hill on 11th and Pike as Pettirosso closed their doors. 27 years in business there, 10 years with the current ownership. And these guys made it through everything. They made it through COVID. They made it through the Seattle. They were right there in the epicenter of the Seattle protests, everything else. But what's pushing them out of business is rising rents, huh?
Yeah, and we see it time and time again. You know, this one hits close to home for me for many reasons. You know, the owners are people that I've found near and dear to my heart over the years. But, you know, they didn't close through any of the pandemic, through any of the protests. They were literally a block away from where our offices were at up there on Capitol Hill during the protests. You know, I would sneak away and get coffee for the staff nearly every morning, you know, go over there and show support. And it really frustrates me and bothers me that in this city that the cultural institutions, which should be upheld, which should be, you know, cared for and appreciated, are just kind of thrown away for whatever the highest bidder could be in the next particular scenario.
Yeah, Cafe Bay. We actually you took a few pictures there yesterday. We'll put these up. Yeah, there he is. Or Pettirosso. Yeah, you know, during the protests, I didn't really hang out at Pettirosso beforehand. You know, I spent more time on Capitol Hill in the summer of 2020 than I probably spent a long time. But I remember always going over there, like especially during the chop and even after, and going over to Pettirosso, and those guys always so accommodating as well. So their doors are closed, but they do have something else coming on, right? Is another restaurant, another spot? Or?
Yeah, so they've Miki and Yuki Sotos, the owners, have two restaurants, Bang Bang Kitchen and Bang Bang Cafe, and one is in the South End and one is in Belltown. So, if you want to still be able to support, there are opportunities out there still to be able to do so. But Pettirosso has long had their slogan as Pettirosso loves you, and I would say it directly back that we love you, Pettirosso, and we appreciate all the years, from the years that the Soto sisters owned it to back when Robin owned it back in the 90s into the early 2000s.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Seattle's definitely vanishing, But one thing that's not vanishing, thanks to Africatown Community Land Trust, is actually more Black folk coming back as opposed to vanishing. Before we let you go and we bring on Wyking Garrett, you were there on Saturday for the groundbreaking. I think we have some pictures here that you took from the groundbreaking as well. Tell us what that experience was like to be there.
Well, I mean, to kind of bring it back to exactly what I just said, and talking about cultural institutions and neighborhoods that are important, here we have the exact opposite, thankfully, of what we just talked about. And we're seeing life, the historic life of the Central District being brought back. And through so many years of effort, I was so impressed and so happy to be able to be up there at this groundbreaking, to see a good story in Seattle, something that's absolutely necessary to see the vibrancy of the Central District, returning to its roots. You were there as well, and it was a great day.
Yeah, and you was on them shrimp and grits too.
You put some shrimp and grits anywhere in my vicinity, I'm gonna make sure there ain't much left.
All right, good stuff. I think we got a handcrafted motion graphic over there. Next up, there he is, Wyking Garrett, Africatown Community Land Trust. We're going to talk all about Africatown Plaza and also what's next on the horizon for the organization. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable. Hey guys, Besa Gordon here with some much needed information about what's happening in our communities when it comes to COVID-19 in 2022. Omicron is actually the latest COVID-19 variant and honestly is hitting our local communities and hospitals pretty hard. You can help out by 1, making sure you are vaccinated, 2, making sure you have your booster, and 3, simply masking up. As we learn more about COVID-19, we're also learning more about how the vaccine works best. A booster shot 2 to 5 months after your COVID-19 vaccine significantly improves protection against COVID and its many variants. If you need a COVID-19 vaccine or a booster, there are free options for transportation and childcare that are available. To learn more about all of your options and where you can get your booster shot, go to kingcounty.gov/COVID/vaccine.
If you look at art history, like the black protagonist has just not been there. Like you just don't have black existence in the paradigm of art. So a lot of my work primarily is just to combat the erasure of blackness. We don't have to be shown through pain through art. We could just be doing us, kick back, vibes, color our existence, just being.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. You see right there, Art of the Matter. Art of the Matter tonight, live, 6 o'clock, we're doing a live show with Takia T-Dub Ward and artist Barry Johnson. It's the art of visibility, right? Okay, Brady. Brady's the editor on that show. Art of Visibility. It's going to be dope. We're doing a live show because after the episodes, there's so many questions that people have for the artists. So we're going to air the episode, and then after, Takia and Barry are going to be here for question and answer. That's 6 o'clock. Anywhere that you're watching the Morning Update Show, you'll see the Art of the Matter. Join now, my good friend, man. We go all the way back to Garfield High School. Joined now by Wyking Garrett, CEO, Africatown Community Land Trust. How are you?
Peace. Good. Oh, now we go back before that, man. Little League Baseball back
Yeah,
at
right.
Miller Community Center, you know.
Yeah, man, you're right. It's
Coach
like
Harvey.
we go back like racism. We go way back.
Oh, man.
All right, man. It's great. You know, I was really excited. I was actually supposed to be out of town this past weekend. And I was really excited because and I changed my plans because I said there's no bigger story for uplift of our community than for us to be there to cover the groundbreaking of Africatown Plaza there on 23rd and Spring. Man, tell us all about it.
Man, that's an honor, you know. It was a great day in the Central District, Africatown, you know, breaking ground on our next project. You know, it's been many years in the making. The site of the Umoja Peace Center, which was founded back in 2008, turning what was then, you know, what people was calling crack houses, you know, we say self-medication facilities in the community into a youth-focused cultural center and community space. And, you know, 14 years later, we're able to break ground on a 7-story building that is dedicated to continuing the work that we started with the Liberty Bank building and the Africatown, you know, community development initiative overall, which is to maintain this as a community, the Central District and Seattle as a place where Black people can be rooted, can grow, and can thrive into the future. You know, it was a good day. I mean, this is 2022. It's 140 years since William Gross bought land, you know, 12 acres that established this as a settling place for Black people and Black families. So to be able to continue to make space for that is our greatest way to honor that Black history.
Yeah, you know, I'm often telling people as well that it's a rightful claim when people are like, well, you know, Black people just kind of came during the 40s and the 50s. Like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? And even just 2 blocks from here is where William Gross, right here on First Avenue, where he had a hotel, he had a business, a thriving business right here. You know, imagine what William Gross purchased that land there in the Central District before Washington was even a state.
That's right. That's right. He was a developer back then, you know, and it's sad that we don't have large-scale Black developers across the city and the state, you know, but we're stepping into that role with Africatown Community Land Trust and hopefully inspiring others as well, so that we can be, you know, more these cranes can be building things that will make space for our community as well.
All right. So, but I went back into the time machine, and you know, the time machine is important too, because a lot of times people think that Converge just popped up at the Seattle protests. You know what I'm saying? Or we was just covering community news back during, you know, the protest. This is 2019, right? And this is you right here, the team from the Africatown Community Land Trust. And this is when the initial award came out after years of putting the proposal together. Then it went to the city. Then the city jumped on board. This is December 2019 when the original award came out.
It's a great day today for our community. Africatown Plaza was announced as a recipient of Office of Housing funding in the amount of $12 million to move the Africatown Plaza project forward.
8 buildings will provide homes to Seattle's working individuals and families, healthcare workers and preschool teachers, baristas and bartenders, musicians and fitness instructors, so that they not only work in Seattle, but they can live here too, and provide predictability and stability for their families and children. Funding awards include Africatown Plaza by Africatown Community Land Trust and Capitol Hill Housing.
This is an important step towards making sure if this is going to be a world-class city, it should have a world-class Black and African diaspora community. And this is an important step today. The investment in Africatown Plaza was an important step towards having a world-class city and not a one-class city.
I don't know if anyone is here from Africatown who has done a great job. There we go. And there's Wyking over there. Who saw the importance of reclaiming community for community and making sure that it could stand up, not just housing, but commercial properties that were for the community and by the community. And so bringing together all of those interests, we really can make sure that this city remains diverse and welcoming, and that people can live in every corner of this city, regardless of who they are or where they work.
It's going to get built right there on 23rd and Union. This is a product of so much community input, work, years of community members coming together to make this project a reality, to honor the legacy of the black community that has called the Central District home for almost 140 years. People building a community, building businesses, building institutions, houses, places of worship, events. All of this is what we seek to honor in building the housing and the space for our businesses and culture to continue to grow and thrive in place.
The benefits of these investments extend beyond homes for individual people. They serve our city as a whole. Through this investment, we address displacement and advance racial equity, including in neighborhoods like the Central District, where community-driven project seeks to reverse the impacts of displacement of the African American community.
You know, Seattle is a place where hard problems are being solved for the global economy every day. And so we think that this is a place where there can be leadership around how our communities can be developed, redeveloped, revitalized without displacement. We can hack gentrification. We can disrupt displacement here in Seattle. When you were on the campaign trail, you said Africatown should not just be a model for Seattle, but for the nation.
Exactly right.
You're making an investment into that?
We're making an investment, but more importantly, we're investing in the community who saw that vision.
Exactly.
And it's raising up the community and investing in community, because we've seen the community knows what it needs, and it's up to the city to empower that.
Absolutely, and we looked at Seattle can lead.
Seattle can lead. And we know that the strength, you look at this board or any of these, behind it are hundreds of hours of community vision and dreams and hard work to make it reality.
That's right. We're going to need our community to get more involved, to keep their hands on, to keep their eyes on, so we can continue to accelerate this and have more projects like this in the community. And we thank all of our partners that we've been working with, Capitol Hill Housing, Black Community Impact Alliance, Bird Bar Place, and so many.
All right, 2019. There, it's been a few changes since then. We got a new mayor, and Capitol Hill Housing is now Community Roots Housing. But I just wanted to share with the audience that, like, man, this is, you know, it takes time, but you guys have been consistent on this mission and the development here of Africatown Plaza and other properties.
Absolutely. You know, Africatown is an asset-based community development initiative. The Land Trust is one part of that, focused on acquiring and developing land so that we have space for us to live, businesses to thrive, our culture to continue to grow and flourish in this city. So, you know, yeah, that's a throwback, man. You know, Africatown Media powered by Converge. You know, it's a long. We're here now. You know, start. Where do we? You know,
come on, man. You know, it's important. You know, we always have to remind people. Somehow people think that I was just a hobbyist and chilling at home with an iPhone during the Seattle protests or something. They don't realize we've been, you know, uplifting stories about our community for years and for years, man.
You've been around the world, man. We was just blessed to have you come back and cross paths and take reroute, you know, right back in the community.
Reroute it. All right. So I know you've seen this before, but some of our viewing audience hasn't. So we came together, me and Jake Gravbrot, man, you know, Wonder Twins unite out there on Saturday, and we put together a great video. But I'll let you set it up and just telling people what they're getting ready to see here and what the experience was like.
Definitely not your average groundbreaking. You know, we took it back to the foundation. A lot of the performers and presenters were original Umoja Peace Center, you know, kind of founders that went in there and cleaned these houses out that looked like the houses after Katrina in New Orleans, you know, and made that into a vibrant space. And so building on that foundation, we wanted to revisit that, you know, the spirit of Sankofa, to go back and fetch and look back to know where you're going. So you're going to see culture. You're going to see positive energy. You're going to see, you know, our brilliant artists, you know, and you're going to see our people, you know, and you see elected officials too that came out and spoke in support. You know, our mayor, our county councilman, Gamai Zahalai, state representative Kirsten Talley Harris, and Mayor Bruce Harrell. So among some of those that also spoke.
We're here for land ownership. We want to build something that lasts longer than any one of ourselves. We want to build something that we can pass on to our children and our children's children so that they can share in the prosperity of this booming region, so they can share in the economy of Martin Luther King County. Because we all know that today is about more than the individuals and the families who are going to find an affordable home in this building. Today is about more than the artists who are going to be able to celebrate and enshrine Black culture in this space. Today is about more than the small businesses who are going to open on this block and generate Black wealth for generations. Today is about something bigger. Today is about a movement. Today is about a movement to create a new normal. Today is about community ownership. Today is about deepening our roots in the historic epicenter of Seattle's Black community.
Ring with the harmonies of liberty.
I think this moment just signifies what's possible. When we have a thought, we come together around that thought, and then we take that and rally and push it forward to make it real. I think that's what it represents, possibility, that a different future is possible. A lot of times it looks very bleak, but hopefully this is just, you know, a small light, a small candle. And if we keep lighting candles and then put our candles together, you know, we can create a different situation.
If you do things without those who have sacrificed for you, then they will remind you of where you come from and whose you are. So if you find yourself challenged, you may want to think about those who fed you before you could feed yourself.
We're breaking ground on Africatown Plaza. It's 140 years since, you know, 1882 when William Gross bought the 12 acres from Henry Yesler and made this a Black community. So we're continuing all that legacy of making space for the Black community to be able to grow and thrive. It's been a long journey. This is just another step in the marathon, but we definitely want to pick up the pace.
With community, we know that the abundance will be given to all. And that's what I think of with what is today.
It's going to be something like nothing you've ever seen in this, you know, in this area, right? You know, it's not going to look like all of the Lego blocks that's been coming. It's 126 units, 7 stories over commercial and community space. The art, we have Black artists from right here, genius from across the country and across the world that are contributing to telling the story of our unique journey and making this a place where people can come back and connect.
Money ain't right, money ain't tight. The cost of living is the need for money in this life. Humanity and darkness and humanity. Scared to doubt the word and doubt the work to believe.
As Frederick Douglass, our ancestors, said, we might not get everything we fight for, but we're going to fight for everything we get. And we're definitely not waving a white flag, because if our ancestors waved the white flag, we wouldn't be able to be here today. So in honoring our great Black history, our charge is to make our history count, and we're looking at this as another contribution, you know, in our journey towards realizing our greatness.
All right, you see the uplift is real. Big shout out, thank you to Jake Grabber on the slow-mo and the drone photography there, and Adafua on the soundtrack. Man, it was dope. You know, I go to a lot of groundbreakings, and it was special for a lot of different reasons for me. I mean, on so many different levels, but just all together, the program was just dope. You know what I'm saying? And to pull in so many different aspects of community there, from the music, from the spiritual side, from the spoken word, from community members, from the A1 from day one, the people who were there all the way back there in 2008, and the people who maintained the vision there, and also to our elected officials, man. It was a real special day. But now the ground's been broke, man. What's next there? I mean, how long is it going to take? What's the next steps?
I mean, I just had to, that was a great production, you know. Shout out, so glad Converge is on the scene, and Jake, you know, great job capturing that moment in history. You know, for me, the best part, you know, and this is our second groundbreaking, Liberty Bank was the first, is our children and our young people being able to have those shovels in their hand and those hard hats on, and so that they can feel connected and rooted in the community, and understand that, you know, we're doing this for them, you know, to be able to pass the baton and to see themselves as, you know, owners and builders of the future. So, you know, yeah, that was a great day. When you're in the whirlwind, you don't really, you know, get to experience. So to be able to look back and just see, you know, some of what happened. Thank you for that.
Oh man, thank you. And you know, we hear it all the time. They're even saying this here in the comments, that Africatown Community Land Trust is really out front of the nation. Sometimes some things we know, like, oh, Seattle technology is a hub, or for this company or that company and everything else, and we look at it as being a hub. But a lot of times, especially in our community, some of the things that we do here, especially due to our small population, we don't realize that we're national leaders in the space. Africatown Community Land Trust is actually a national leader, and different organizations from different cities across America are actually trying to study what you guys are doing here now, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of, you know, much larger Black communities are really looking to the work. Even the original Africatown in Mobile, Alabama, who we are, you know, in correspondence and partnership with, and that's a powerful history in itself that I encourage everyone to look into. It's becoming more visible, but yeah, I think you know, in 2015, you know, we took it upon ourselves to say we want to hack gentrification, you know, taking a page out of the technology book and disrupt displacement, you know. So we've been working through our own innovative strategies, community technology. You know, technology isn't always about, you know, a device or a computer, but really the original intelligence is us, right? And then, you know, artificial intelligence is produced from us. But we've been working hard, you know, and it takes a lot of different types of strategic partnerships, bringing a lot of different minds into the room, from our community members to all of the, you know, the Black architects and planners that join with us, to other partners like, you know, the Forteras and the Community Roots Housing and Lake Union Partners in terms of the actual transaction to get this acquisition done. And our work is really about creating, it's not just about the Central District. You got to start somewhere. So we start where we started, right? And preserve that legacy. But it's really about developing new models for Black community to thrive. You know, so long in our experience here in this country, it's been about surviving, you know, getting in where we fit in, making a way out of no way. But what does it mean to design, you know, with our unique experiences, our unique ways of being at the center of what is being designed and built? And you'll see that, you know, also in the, you know, in the architecture, right, of the building is different. We were fortunate to be able to bring together brilliant Black architects through working with GGLO as our architect of record, and David Baker and Dream Collaborative out of Boston. So, you know, we didn't limit the brilliance to our local area, and that's part of what Africatown is about. You know, being able to tap in to the greatness of our past, regardless of location or time, right, to find that inspiration and to build into the future. And so, you know, we're inspired by our stories right here in the Central District, Jackson Street Jazz legacy, to D. Charlene Williams, and so the Union Street, you know, just being a core, Miss Helen's, Thompson's point of view. But we're also inspired by our history before the period of enslavement and throughout the world.
Right. And when we talk about inspiration and inspiration in this moment in contemporary times here, the Liberty Bank building, which is also Africatown Community Land Trust building right across the street, you have Communion, which is inspiring people. Communion named one of the top 12 restaurants in the world by Condé Nast Traveler last year. Communion is sitting right there in the Liberty Bank building. Excuse me. It's also Earl's Cut & Styles, 30 years there. And the Liberty Bank building gave Earl a home to be able to stay in the neighborhood despite all the changes that are happening there. And so the work is definitely, we see the work paying off. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Liberty Bank building is somewhere I go across America and I talk about it. And even when people come here, excuse me, when people come to Seattle, especially Black people from other cities, and they talk about community and the lack thereof of community in Seattle in their perspective, because they might be coming from a city with a big Black population, so many restaurants, so many this and that. I'm like, Seattle, sometimes we need to quantify or change what the definition of a community necessarily means, right? Because there's a lot of people who come to Seattle from cities with a bigger Black population and bigger storefronts and everything else, but they've let their legacy media die. You know, community in Seattle means that the Fax newspaper is here, the Medium is here, KRIZ and KZIZ is here. You know what I'm saying? New media is thriving. The South Seattle Emerald, Rainier Avenue Radio, Converge. You know, a lot of people come to Seattle from cities where they wave the white flag on gentrification. So although they might still have their restaurant core and a lot of social things, man, they've given up on their legacy spaces. In Seattle, what community means is that we buy the block, we build the block, and we bring our people back. So I tell people, it's like, before you say Seattle don't got no sense of community, you're right. We might not be out there to show up at the party or at the event or this and that, but we show up where it counts, and where it counts is building up our community.
Definitely. Again, just adding our pages, our contribution, you know, the greatest way we can honor our Black histories, you know, whether it's the Black Wall Streets in Tulsa, Rosewood, Durham, you know, the Black Bottoms, you know, the Bronzevilles, the Harlems, Renaissance, you know, the Motowns, is to make our own history count. And you're doing that here, you know, with your platform, adding on to the legacy of Fitzgerald Beaver and Chris Bennett in terms of Black media, and making it real now. And in 40 years, you're going to be up on the wall. Oh, and so our work, again, as you mentioned, Communion, you know, world renowned now. You mentioned Earl's. Our work is about making space, because we know the brilliance and the genius and the entrepreneurial spirit has always been among us, but it's been so suppressed and restricted. And so our work is really blazing a trail and creating that space so that can blossom, you know, and we want to see, you know, 10 communions. You know, we're excited. Jerk Shack is coming up to 23rd and Union as well, and other businesses. And so again, it's about showing what's possible, right? Because once it can be done one time, then it can be done 2 times, and it can continue to be replicated. And so ultimately, we want to see this at scale. You know, what does it look like for our whole community to be like a Moja Fest every day, right? You know, where wherever you go, you can get, you know, reggae, you can get Afrobeat, you can get hip hop, you can get jazz, you can get salsa, which are all just different reflections of the African diaspora or the Black experience, right? And so I look at it as, and we look at it as, you know, being one gem with many facets, and we just want to make space for that to be, you know, able to really illuminate and continue to inspire the world, because everyone's better. Everyone benefits from the contributions that we've made to this city, to this country, and to the world. So, you know, making space for that is good for everyone, you know, and other communities and neighborhoods right here also, I think, you know, inspired by, you know, the space that, you know, Africatown has been able to move in, as well as you said, you know, other states and other Black communities, because this is a national issue as far as gentrification and displacement, really a third forced migration for Black people who in many ways are still economic refugees from the transatlantic slave trade, and face those obstacles. And so, you know, we're about reparations, we're about restoration, and we're about justice and equity, and this is part of our contribution to that.
Man, and now, before I let you go, this was a seed that was planted 14 years ago. When we talk about it, we've seen it blossom, and now the groundbreaking. In about 14 months from now, Africatown Plaza will open its doors. We saw over the last year, though, we've seen some press releases come out. The William Gross Center for Innovation, right there, the old firehouse on 23rd and Yesler. We see the Cairo building, right, also kind of off Yesler. And what other things are on the horizon for Africatown Community Land Trust?
Yeah, I mean, our work continues to really, the projects you name is about answering the question, are there Black people in the future, right? And it seems like, that might be like kind of a joke, but it's very real that the trajectory of Seattle, which was, I think, the 5th whitest city and then may have moved to the 4th, is on a trajectory to not, and so again, our work was around course correcting, right? So that Seattle can be this world-class city with the communities of the world that have made the city. Some of the projects that we are focused on, as you said, William Gross Center will be opening in this spring. It's under construction right now, being renovated. William Gross Center for Cultural Innovation and Enterprise support our technologists, our creatives, our community builders, and our entrepreneurs, creating space for that, facilitating pathways to the innovation and knowledge-based economy around us. We were able to acquire the 16th and Yesler, 1601 Yesler, the former Carroll site just across from Langston Hughes, right, and a block from Pratt. And so ultimately, we're looking at, adding another 300 units of affordable housing and commercial space. It'll be a long planning process for that. Currently the building has been repurposed as Banu Community Home, enhanced shelter program focused on reducing the overrepresentation of Black men among those that are experiencing houselessness by providing culturally responsive, trauma-informed care. And we have affordable home ownership projects that we're working on, because ultimately it's not just rental. This was one of the highest.
That's what I want to throw in there real quick, because one thing we see in the comments sometimes is like, oh, well, man, they're just making more renters. But actually, you guys have a program as well for home ownership.
Yeah, we our first project is a partnership with Homestead Community Land Trust. It's 10 townhomes that'll be under $350,000, which is unheard of in the Central District in Seattle, right, where most things are at, $800,000, $700,000 and up. Those will be on available just in a couple months now, and we have another project that we're working around affordable a home ownership. But it's like, how you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. So, more the people that lean in, and put their energy in to add fuel to the fire, the more acceleration and greater impact that we can have. We're continuing to work on acquisitions. And then also we want to really look at how can we best support our legacy property owners here. That's a big issue. And again, the Central District was had one of the highest rates of Black home ownerships in the country. So when you speak about what type of Black community, has been here, it has been one that has been moving things forward. We're about, ownership, and again, looking for more, acquisition so that we can continue to make space for the greatness that exists in our community to be able to stay, and new things to be born and flourish. And then we have, obviously the events that will be coming on, a series of events. But, we can't get it all in right now. I want to, save some, for later. We got, more ribbon cuttings and more activities to come.
All right. Before we let you go, you can look right there in that camera. Tell people how they can keep up with you and the Africatown Community Land Trust.
Yes, Africatown Community Land Trust, Africatown Movement, Africatown SCA across social media, IG, Africatown Community Land Trust across, social media, africatownlandtrust.org. That's where you go. Sign up so you can join the newsletter. You can stay in the know of things. You can find out about opportunities. You can go there. You can give. You can sign up to volunteer to bring your brilliance, your time, your talent, your treasure to add it to the movement. So again, just all things Africatown. We're available online. Follow us, and I think we'll be back on Converge at some point, to give you updates. So thank you for the space.
Definitely. We're always looking for the uplift, man. KY King Garrett, Africatown Community Land Trust. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you,
All right. Take a quick break right now. We come back, joined by the big fella, returns to the set. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Hey guys, Besa Gordon here with some much needed information about what's happening in our communities when it comes to COVID-19 in 2022. Omicron is actually the latest COVID-19 variant and honestly is hitting our local communities and hospitals pretty hard. You can help out by 1, making sure you are vaccinated, 2, making sure you have your booster, and 3, simply masking up. As we learn more about COVID-19, we're also learning more about how the vaccine works best. A booster shot 2 to 5 months after your COVID-19 vaccine significantly improves protection against COVID and its many variants. If you need a COVID-19 vaccine or a booster, there are free options for transportation and childcare that are available. To learn more about all of your options and where you can get your booster shot, go to kingcounty.gov/COVID/vaccine. Hey guys, Besa Gordon here, and before heading to Belize, Trey Holiday and I had to make sure we linked up with our good friends over at Market Street Shoes to, of course, grab a few things for the trip. From bags to socks, shoes, sunglasses, earrings, and more. Before going on any trip, make sure you stop at Market Street Shoes. Trust me, you'll find just what you need to make your trip not only enjoyable, but fashionable.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. This is your Seattle News, Views, and Brews. You can catch that here at Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brian Callanan and David Croman. Back on the set now with Jake Grabrot. Man, what a great discussion there with Wyking, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I could have listened to that. I'm gonna watch it again. Everything about that whole the day itself and this discussion that you guys just had, so necessary. I mean, you mentioned 140 years since before Seattle was even a city, and here we are seeing a day like what happened on Saturday.
Yeah, I do every once in a while. I just did something with PBS, and they drove me around the Central District. We're having a discussion there about the CD and everything else and gentrification. And I told them, I said, we not waving the white flag out here in Seattle, and we fighting for every inch. And that's what we'll continue to do. Before we get out of here, we got some stuff on the entertainment front. You know what I'm saying? You went and saw, we got overlay over here. You went and saw Romeo and Juliet. You know what I'm saying? This is your second ballet. That's good right there. This is your second ballet. We all went to the Nutcracker together, right? Nutcracker was nutcracking. I wasn't able to make it to Romeo and Juliet, but Treyana went to Romeo and Juliet. Besa went to Romeo and Juliet. You went, man. How was it?
It was great. I mean, gosh, and I can't get used to the seats that I have, but they were incredible seats. Got a chance to watch up close as much as I possibly could, and I saw the whole entire thing. It was a long program, but everything, there wasn't a moment where I was sitting there looking at my watch. That's for sure. It was great. And actually, I will say this, it runs until the 13th of this month, and the lead Juliet in this particular performance, it will be her final run with, I believe, with Pacific Northwest Ballet. I mean, she may actually be retiring, but Noelani Pentastico, and she did an incredible job.
Man, thank you for nailing the name. I was trying to put it together in my head because I was like, what a dope last name, Pentastico, right? Yeah. All right, so actually, when she was on with Trey Holiday last week talking about what people could expect, she told Trey Holiday to bring a box of tissue. So, Jake, I just want you to be honest with our viewers. Did you cry, bro?
I mean, I will be honest with you. Well, I didn't cry. It takes a decent bit, for me to, but I didn't cry. Ultimately, probably because I knew the outcome of the story. It's one that I've definitely known over the years, but it was really great. I mean, shout out to Pacific Northwest Ballet for continuing to put diverse casts together, and for art to continue to thrive here in this city.
And speaking of that, actually, I'm gonna skip over this next one. Can you put up here Fifth Avenue tweet, because you just said diversity, and I wanted to bring this up. Fifth Avenue Theater last night, somebody had tweeted to them talking about, oh, there it is, it's up on the big screen now. The acting was great, but they ruined a classic by doing their liberal diversity in picking the cast. They're talking about Beauty and the Beast over there at Fifth Avenue Theater. And man, whoever's running the account over at Fifth Avenue, man, they clap back. This is the future of theater. And if you don't like it, you should probably not come anymore. Have a nice day. I was like, yo, I gotta, you know what? I'll be honest with you. I gotta give a big shout out to Fifth Avenue Theater. This is just a tweet that we captured here, but also STG, Broadway Across America, Broadway at the Paramount, Pacific Northwest Ballet, because there's diverse cast, diverse people that look like me, people that look like other people that are in the cast, and some people be out there hating on them, but they're pushing back.
And absolutely, as they should. I grew up in a small town, Yakima, here in Washington. Wasn't the most diverse place in the world. So for me, diversity was something that was learned and experienced over the years. I didn't have a lot of cultural representation to draw from when I was a teenager. I was, one of the quote unquote minorities in my high school as somebody who was a mixed race individual. And that says quite a lot about how white my school was. But it was something that over the course of my time through college, beauty school, working in the field, I've learned diversity, and I've always loved it. And I think the key for me was that I was never afraid of diversity. It exists and it should be celebrated. And for people that are having issues with a diverse cast like this or whatnot, shout out to Fifth Avenue Theater for calling it right back to them and saying, this is the future, and I'm sorry if you're not here for it, then here's the door and you can find your way out.
Yeah, sounds like some of the things Ricky was hearing. Rich, the old owner of the New York Yankees, way back when there was this guy Jackie Robinson, the Dodgers, they want to put on, and that's the thing is, well, baseball was good till you try to diversify and these diversity picks. It's always, it's this glass ceiling to be out there in these spaces, man. But like I said, big shout out to Fifth Avenue Theater, to STG, Broadway Across America, Pacific Northwest Ballet, man, for really being rooted in their values. And you know what I'm saying? Making a great experience for everybody. So,
absolutely.
And speaking of STG, we got something right here. This is on the 10th. This is STG Presents AIM by Kyle Abraham. We'll go ahead and put that one up there, Salman. You see it? Oh, he's struggling up. There he goes. STG Presents AIM by Kyle Abraham and Untitled Love at the Moore Theater. And this is on the 10th. So this is coming right up. And it's presented by On the Boards. It's Untitled Love. It's Kyle Abrams' newest evening-length work, drawn from the catalog of Grammy Award-winning R&B legend D'Angelo. Hello. This creative exhalation pays homage, to the complexities of self-love and Black love. Man, it sounds like something I need to be at, while serving as a thumping mixtape celebrating our culture, family, and community. Man, it sounds fire. Go ahead, put that link in the comments, Salman. So this is on the 10th, and this is over at the Moore Theater. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking that out. And before we get out of here, we're going to play this one more time. It's The Art of the Matter tonight at 6 o'clock. I know you'll be here, huh?
Yeah.
You'll be here. It's Takia Ward. She's going to be live in here with artist Barry Johnson. And yeah, go ahead.
If you look at them there, you just don't have Black existence in the paradigm of art. So a lot of my work primarily is just to combat the erasure of Blackness. We don't have to be shown through pain, through art. We could just be doing us. You know, kick back, vibes, color our existence, just being.
That's the Art of the Matter tonight, 6 o'clock. T-Dub and Barry Johnson. We got the editor over here. It's fire, huh, Brady? Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. You know, it's usually Trey Holiday here. So I'm like, Trey, any last words before we get out of here? Jake, before we get out of here today, man, anything?
I mean, I would just like to say how proud I am of this work that's being done. You know, from Converge to the various different Black media outlets that are here in the city. Wyking talked about it and how important that is. And I'm proud to be here, man, and just to be helping out with whatever that I possibly can. It's really cool to see T-Dub get her show out there, and it's incredible. And if you haven't had a chance to watch that first episode, please go back and do it. Watch this one that's coming up. We got great stuff coming out here, and there's more to come.
Yeah, and just let me throw this in here, man. Not only are you helping out, you're making an impact. All right, we're going to get out of here. Like I said, tonight, 6 o'clock, it's the Art of the Matter. As usual these days, we're going to leave you with a little bit of hope from Shayna Shepherd. Want to remind you, go forward in your purpose. Go forward in your humanity. And until tomorrow at 11 a.m., peace.
What do I see through a lens of fear? 1,000 little steps to go. What do I fear after all these years? Lord knows I don't even know. I've been running on the edge of a sundial, sleeping in the shadow. I've been begging you to see me, then hiding beyond the unreachable. Looking out left on a right-hand turn, just trying to make a deal. A lazy shoes and love is a love that turn. That's the kind of food that heals. I've been searching for the end of an era, waiting to be ready. The world is bigger than a moment. Be steady, that's how you can feel it's real. But I feel naked. I got used to hiding the holes. This whole world got new tricks and I'm in the thick of it. This I swear I'm already sick of it. At least I found the antidote. Oh. No one is a shadow. I know 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 no one is a shadow. No one is a shadow. But I feel naked in my new clothes, 'cause I got used to